Welcome back, everybody. It is episode 17 of the Play It Down Sports Podcast. We've got a show today. A lot of chaos, a little betting, and a whole lot of takes that hopefully don't age terribly well before next week. But hey, that's what we do here. We're kicking things off with another round of boneheads. This week it was hard to only have three, from questionable coaching calls to flat-out brain farts on the field.
I don't think there was any bonehead plays this week.
No, it was very clean, very professional out there. Then we're going to dive into our college and pro picks. We're also talking a little bit of golf, the Bay Current Classic, formerly known as the Zozo Championship.
Yeah, we got to get back into making picks there. The problem is these tournaments right now start too early.
Yeah, so this one actually started today. It's in Japan, but for them it's tomorrow. But the FedEx Cup Fall is off and running, and we'll have to see who gets into the top 100. We also have some more NFL overreactions and takeaways after week 5. You know the drill. And finally, it's recap time. Check our picks from last week and where we stand head to head. I don't think I'm looking too good there. Remember to always bet responsibly, and please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Play It Down Golf for all of our picks. You can also catch us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you hit the follow button. Grab your drink of choice. Let's play it down.
I see you don't have the La Bianca chalice tonight.
So if you were following me on Instagram, you would have noticed the other night, which was what's today? Today's Wednesday, so it was Monday night. I was on the patio having a little Stella, using the chalice.
Yeah.
Having a cigar. And not going to lie, my wife is away. She is in Dallas. Speaking of my wife, we did have a little bet last weekend about Denver and the Eagles, and Denver did win, so she is actually in Dallas.
Yeah, that was quite a game.
That was a great game.
It really was.
And she is in Dallas, and she has to go to Merido Country Club, where Liv Dallas was playing, and buy me a hat.
Wow. Now, how do we connect back to what beer you're drinking?
So I'm not drinking Stella or the chalice. I'm drinking just a Miller Lite this is the Orange Lantern. If for any of you Bergen County fans in New Jersey, the Orange Lantern's a great little dive, not even a dive, well, it's kind of a dive bar that we pretty much grew up in.
Oh, nice. Well, it's funny how you were able to turn that question into some discussion about something related to the Live Tour again. I was happy to see you do that.
Well, I got to get it in there. They're not playing until February, so you got some time. I had to get it in there.
I like your shirt, too, tonight.
Yes. I like yours as well. Seems very similar.
Yeah.
We're trying to step up the game a little bit.
Yeah. Nice job with the Play It Down podcast shirt order. It was very comfortable. Comfortable shirt.
Not too bad. I haven't washed it yet. I'm hoping it doesn't shrink.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of cotton material in this. Nice, cool.
What are you drinking?
I've got a Merlot tonight. And it's from my wine club. It's a 2021 winery out of California called Wolfson. And I've had it before. It's good stuff. And again, they give you a whole bunch of different wines to try. And the ones you like, you repeat. So this is a Merlot.
Yeah, give me the name. We'll start promoting the wine club. All right. I did, in case anyone is was wondering about the Dave Gordon hat situation from last week.
Oh, yeah.
You'll notice we only have one hat in the middle. Still Rob Cantrell's Phoenix Insurance Company. But hey, Dave, if you ever want to send it out to us, please do.
We had to retire the old hat.
We had to.
And, but if he's got a new one, an extra one that he hasn't given away to all of his other friends, maybe he'll find it. It'll find its way to that
back
table.
To the table.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, let's get this going. We start off as always. With more boneheads. So where are we going?
We found some.
We found a couple.
Yeah.
Well, we had a lot. We had a lot going on this weekend.
We had a few we selected from this week. Yep. I thought that there was a good selection.
Yeah.
And the ones that make it to the list, I don't know if you want to feel honored to be on this list, but you do have to work to get there sometimes. And these three candidates,
they're solid.
They are.
They are really solid candidates.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with our good friend from Penn State.
Yeah. James Franklin. Now, his sunglasses don't look as good to me as the ones we've had on the other coaches. So right out of the gate, he doesn't look as good.
And the best thing is that is actually from the game.
Yeah, I mean,
there was better pictures with him and the sunglasses.
There's a lot of things I don't like about that. I don't like the headset. It looks like he's only got one headphone in. Maybe that's the problem. That only some of the information's coming down from the booth, and the rest of it's going in
La La Land,
in or out. I don't know. And then he's got some sort of thing on his waist there. Maybe that's a satellite finder for golf or something that he's going to play after the game. Whatever it is,
it's not how to play calls.
He's not focused. No, he's not focused on the game very much. He looks a little bit like he's in a disc. Maybe the sun looks good. I don't know what it is that he's looking at there, but I don't think it's the football game. So
it's not good.
So what we have here is we have a horrific loss by Penn State of 42-37 to UCLA. And these are teams that were losing to the likes of New Mexico, and
the spread was
Northwestern
24.5.
Yeah, teams that on the road.
Yeah.
So they were giving over 3 touchdowns in UCLA. UCLA's got somewhat of a lauded quarterback, but they have been a mess this year, and they fired their coach. Right. So they're
you
really
have an interim coach.
Yep.
You have an OC that started.
Foster got fired earlier this year, and it's just not a program right now where you just think that you're going to have a break. You should be just going to UCLA and beating down this team, right?
Beating down,
right?
Their OC was 2 days on the job.
So here's where we get though, but upsets happen, things happen, but this is the part of the bonehead, and it's clueless and boneheaded the way he ended the first half in that game. So he's down 24-7, 24-7. His team was not prepared, right? Now, that in and of itself is bad enough.
That's an indictment on him right there.
But now you've got a chance with 2 minutes left to try to cut the lead down, go into the locker room, get things straightened out, and come out and take care of business, right? He has 2 minutes left, and he begins, and he's inside. I think he's at about the UCLA 40, and he runs the ball. And the announcers, you listen to the announcers during this, and they're like, okay, he's going to call one of his timeouts.
He's got 3 of them.
He got 3 of them.
They're all
Doesn't call a timeout.
Maybe that's what's in the little pouch, in the timeouts.
It could be. The timeouts got saved. So he basically lets 35 seconds run off the clock. They huddle or they do whatever. It takes them forever. And the announcers are like, well, a lot of times running off the clock. He runs the ball again. It repeats, except this time he gets a little bit more yardage out of it, right? He gets, it's 3rd and maybe 4. And then now we're under a minute and the clock runs, no timeout. The announcers are in disbelief. Like, what's going on here? This is a better team that's down 17 points and has a chance to cut the lead. We now get to 3rd down. He runs the ball a 3rd time and doesn't get the 1st down. So now we're at the, 38-yard line, 4th and 2, and the clock is now under 40 seconds. And now the quarterback goes back to pass, and he gets sacked.
Yeah.
So he takes a sack on 4th down, and it's predictable. UCLA is now able to, in the last 15 or 20 seconds of the half, complete a pass, or whatever they did, complete a pass, and they kicked a 54-yard field goal, and we're up 27-7 at halftime. This guy, I don't know that you can answer. He could answer the question in any way, shape, or form in a way that would make sense as to why he managed the clock that way, the play calling that way. The quarterback then goes and takes a sack to set up UCLA for points, when it would seem that he should be able to just run through that with a couple of passes with a quarterback that I think was potentially going to be like a Heisman candidate.
Call a timeout.
He got 3 of them. Well, I think he wanted to save them. He's got them in the pouch. Yeah.
Well,
so James, if you're listening, congratulations. You've made it to the boneheaded and clueless.
Yeah,
clueless boneheaded action of the week.
And again,
there was multiple actions.
Yeah, the second half didn't get much better for them.
Well, at least they only lost by 5 points instead of 7 to 20. But
instead of 20.
Congratulations, James. You're no longer a playoff candidate, but.
And so our second bonehead is, I guess,
we're going to visit. We're going into the Friendly Skies again.
Yeah,
Friendly Skies.
Right in.
Yeah. So this here is a picture. So when we started this, we had our our number one award the very first week we did this, Clueless Bonehead, was on an airplane.
Yeah.
And we had the foot picker, and he's going to make it he may make it into the finals when we get a vote going on, what could be the all-stars of boneheads and cluelessness actions. So here we have, now the guy in the lighter colored jeans is an employee, works for me at my company, Fidelity and Guarantee, right? Great kid, does a great job on our pricing team, and we have a unbelievable team. And so we'll go through. He knows about the airplane episode that I went through coming back from Vegas. So he is on a plane, and his wife was, she's in the window seat, right? So you don't see any footage here. And then he's in the middle seat. So he's sitting in the middle seat, and next to him comes a scalered gentleman who sits down in the gentleman might be a loose term.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Sits down in the aisle seat and proceeds to spread his legs to the point where he is in half of Ethan's seat and crowds this kid over. So he's basically, his leg, if you look at it, his leg and his foot, and I think he took his shoes off. Okay.
Of course he
did. His foot is on the other side of his seat and invading into Ethan's area
space.
there. Yes.
Private space.
So
it's tight enough.
And he the whole trip. That's what we had.
How long was the flight?
Well, the gentleman who was in the aisle who fell asleep. So I don't know how many hours this went on for, but it was
Oh, that poor
it's
kid.
A classic, yeah.
Well,
I would say that the guy's leg takes up half the seat, and then
I'm sure this unknown gentleman is going to stumble across his podcast and will know forever that he made the Boneheads Clueless episode.
Right. We don't know his name, and we wouldn't want to know his name.
No, I would love to know his name. Oh, could you imagine?
So anyway, he's the winner of the number two.
Number two.
Bonehead actions of the week. But number one is not.
Number one's an easy pick.
Yes.
Number one was easy. They take it.
It is the entire Arizona Cardinals.
It's the entire thing.
Yeah. Everything about this is unbelievable. I mean, it's very hard to know where it starts, but I think we got to go up to the far right, upper right-hand corner where Kyler Murray's got a football deflecting off it. This is in the third quarter where this happened, right? So at this point in the game, the Cardinals are leading.
They snapped it, and it goes right off his face mask. It's dead.
Now
he almost had a concussion. He was he was in the medical tent after this. I can't even make that up. He went to the medical tent after the ball bounced off his face.
This is in the third quarter of a game that the Arizona Cardinals are leading 21-6 in against a winless, for the team in white, Tennessee Titans, a winless team.
A poorly coached.
He's made this. Brian Callahan, the coach, has been on this twice with Clueless Boneheaded Actions. He is now the beneficiary of even more.
An even bigger
bonehead clueless action by his opponent.
That's
opposing team. So we start off with this fumble off the helmet. Right?
I will say the fumble again doesn't result in points for Tennessee. However, it kept, as you can see, they're inside. They're around the 20-yard line of Tennessee when this happens.
So it's 21-6 at the minimum. You're figuring 24-6.
Minimum 24-6,
right?
Correct.
Okay, so nothing happens there. And now we get through the third quarter. We're in the fourth quarter, and we now go down to the bottom left.
Yep.
Right? The bottom left, we've got a running back, and I want to give him credit properly by announcing his name correctly. Amari DeMarcata. Right? Now this is a backup running back because James Conner, who's their primary running back, is out for the season. And he's actually probably the third string running back.
He's the third string. Yeah, right? I forget who the
the second string is.
was, but he's.
But they're an injury. They've got injuries, so he basically gets on and I believe it might have been on a 4th down, but they went for it. It was either 3rd or 4th down. They went for a run.
Oh, it was 3rd down.
3rd down and 1, right?
I don't think it was that close. Again, they were. I mean, it's a 70+ yard run.
They're at their own 28-yard line, and he runs 71 3/4 yards. Right now, what he needs to do is run 72 yards. He runs 71 3/4 yards, and as he's passing the goal line, and you can see that the Tennessee defender is trying to catch him, but not been successful.
Nope.
And all that the Cardinal player has to do is hold on to the football as he crosses that line, but he begins to celebrate. And we just had this last week with the Colts. We just had it last week, and we had it last year. And these guys keep doing this. Before they cross the goal line.
Just don't understand.
No, and so they don't get the touchdown, and the score remains 21-6. So we've overcome a snap that rejects off a helmet. We've now got 6 points taken off the board on a review because this guy doesn't cross the goal line. And, the rule you don't like happens, that Tennessee gets the ball on the 20-yard line because the ball fumbles through the end zone. Tennessee guy is astute enough to scramble through. I don't know whether he recovered it there at the end or what happened.
No, it went straight through. Again, the Tennessee guy
But he was involved.
He was trying to do that. He was trying to push it out.
Right. So now we've got a situation here where we're still ahead 21-6. So as bad as it is, and now we get the sideline episode. Sideline episode is shown up in the top left, where the coach in the white cap approaches the player who's 31 with 2 players already trying to console him. And he gets a beat down. He gets a beat down by the coach first verbally. And then when he's done, he kind of bangs him on the shoulder.
Hits him pretty much open-handed and right in the chest plate. Like gives him a good little,
and then wanders away.
Love tap.
Yeah. So now what? So at this point in the game, it's still 21-6, but that just happens on the sidelines. We'll kind of put that aside for a minute, and now we go on to the bottom right.
Still unbelievable.
So now Tennessee is, for the first time all day, moves the ball down the field and scores to go up 21-12. That's not what that photo is.
No, they're already that photo. Right? So after the touchback, they go down and score
to make it 21-12,
and then they miss the extra point.
They miss the extra point, and there's a question in some people's mind whether the Tennessee bonehead play there was not to go for two.
Analytics say you go for 2. I understand you have to make a 2 at some point. So waiting to the second touchdown,
maybe okay, but then you got to make the extra point.
But you got to make the extra point, he misses it by like 20 yards right. So it wasn't like a close one.
But so now the Cardinals can breathe a little easier again because we're under 10 minutes left and you're up 9 and you're getting the ball. And then they punt. And we're getting to a point in the game now where Tennessee now is driving down the field, looking to try to score to make it 21. I think there's
get closer. They're down 9 minutes. So,
and what happens in this particular play in the bottom right is there's an interception, and the Cardinals thwart the drive. And you would think, okay, it's 21-12, under 5 minutes. But as he goes to the ground, he somehow, after catching the ball, fumbles it backwards into the end zone, and the Tennessee Titans, as you can see, jump on the ball after the quarterback made a horrible decision and threw an interception, and they wind up on that play getting a touchdown.
You
can't make it up.
You can't, but the ball was tipped. That's why it was intercepted.
Yeah. The Cam Ward pass was
the Cam
tipped,
Ward pit,
and then after the interception, he goes down to the ground.
And then
so now we're at 21-19 because now we kick the extra point. We can't get it tied. We can get it to 2, and the final nail in the coffin.
In case we don't have room for another photo on the slide. That's all we had room for. There could have been another.
Yeah, because now at 21-19, the Cardinals still get the football and still have a chance to just run the clock out and win the game. And they decide that they're going to run the ball. This is after sort of getting the ball and getting the clock down to
All you gotta do
around
is you need
3
a first
minutes. You
down.
need a first down, and they run it 3 straight times up the middle,
For 2
and the
yards.
guy who fumbled the ball at the goal line happens to be the running back who's carrying the ball. He
He
doesn't
gets
fumble, he just
no.
gets tackled.
He gets 0 yards, 0 yards, 2 yards.
Yep, and they have to punt,
Got a punt.
and now Tennessee has enough time to go down,
Then
and
a
now they
minute
start looking
54
like an offensive juggernaut. Down the field, all energized, and kick a field
and
goal to
kick a
win the
field goal and
game.
win the game.
And then to top it off, the Cardinal organization fines the coach
The coach, $100,000.
$100,000 because of the
The
slap to
the love tap.
a player. You can't touch a player. You really he was not. It was a bonehead move to do it. I'm not sure it wasn't even more of a bonehead to have a coach keep his job, but fine him $100,000 and now expect him to coach this team.
Yep.
So
I mean, the entire game was just unreal.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
will
the
never
text
see a
messages
game
in
like
the
that. I
group
don't
were
think
just
we'll
going
see.
back
We
and
may
forth.
not ever see a game like that
Yeah.
again.
It was, I mean,
But
again,
here's the clincher. This game took 3,142 people out of the Circus Survivorship. It's been talked about all week
all
on
week.
that network. It took out
Carnage.
it took out and people who were probably could turn the TV off and go on about their business would later see that score and my God, I was just
Like,
eliminated.
what happened?
And we lost a couple of entries ourselves on the Cardinals. Not all of them, luckily,
Thankfully.
but we lost some. And so what was 18,000 it had been down to 12,000 entries. We're going to go over this a little bit later, but that particular game took over 3,000 entries out.
And the Rams took out 3,500. That was unbelievable.
So those two games took out 6,600 people.
Whew.
And we only started the week with 12,400. So we're down to, there's down
Carnage,
to 46.
baby. It's carnage.
Yeah.
So those are our 3 boneheads.
Do you think the Cardinals are watching the podcast so that they
Gannon
can relive this?
Gannon is the coach, in case anyone doesn't know. Gannon is the coach.
He's sitting down with a glass of wine,
saying, like, you know what? I can't argue with him. I guess it's true. Okay, college and football pick time.
Yes.
I think you went first last time, so I will go first this time. I'm calling this my Road Dog Warrior Weekend. We will start off with Clemson at Boston College. Clemson's laying 14. But Boston College put up a pretty good offensive statistics. They're averaging 310 yards a game, which is top 15 nationally. They're actually 14th. But here's the problem. They are dead when it comes to running the football. 85 yards a game. 131st in the nation out of 136.
Yeah.
Against a Clemson defense that ranks top 30 against the run, Clemson's defense is not elite. They still give up a lot of passing yards, but they're opportunistic.
So you think Dumbo's going to turn things around this week?
I really do.
They
are solid.
They were able to beat Billy Belichick last week. They were able to take Bill down.
They spanked him well. I loved it.
Yeah.
Under 7.5 wins.
He may not be in North Carolina long. There's some rumors that he's already looking out. Yeah.
He's not a college coach.
Michael Lombardi building a great team there.
You love your Michael Lombardi. So Clemson's defense isn't elite, like I said. It's a solid defense. They allow 20 points a game. It's top 40 nationally. Again, they'll make Boston College offense uncomfortable if they force them into obvious passing downs. However, BC's defense, on the other hand, is a whole different story. They're giving up over 30 points a game. They're ranked 118th.
Yeah, they've been bad.
So they're going to give up 200 plus yards in passing. They'll give up 100 plus yards on the ground pretty much every week. Their red zone offense, this is what holds Clemson back. They rank 114th in red zone offense. I feel against this Boston College defense, that can change. And they can get their red zone offense off the ground and get going. And if they do that, again...
Well, they're also just looking to try to right the ship a little bit.
Yes.
And playing a weak opponent.
This is a good place to right the ship.
Yep.
So I like laying the 14 points. I know it's a huge number, but I still think at the end of the day, Clemson's going to score in the mid to high 30s. And I have Boston scoring scoring maybe 2 touchdowns.
I'm usually not on the side of Clemson, but this feels pretty. I think they're going to be on a little bit of a mission since they're bye.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. My next game is San Diego at Nevada. San Diego is laying 7.5.
San Diego State.
San Diego State. I'm sorry, San Diego State. I think the Bucs still have not fully caught up with the Aztecs defense, which is
very
really good.
Yeah.
San Diego State comes in with a top 15 defense in the country. They're actually ranked 14th, allowing just about 260 total yards a game, which is elite. They're also giving up only 12 points a game, ranking 10th nationally in scoring defense. On the flip side, Nevada's offense, it's painful to watch. They're averaging just over 15 points a game, which puts them 131st in the FBS out of 136. Their passing game is almost non-existent. It's ranked 128th nationally, and they've got a -9 on the turnover margin, which is 135.
It doesn't concern you then that Nevada is home here.
It does not. I know it's a little bit of a large number. I wish it was 6.5 and not 7.5.
It's the hook that bugs me a little bit, but
I don't disagree, but I really just think the matchup here just doesn't favor Nevada really at all. Now, really, the big tip also for me is San Diego State's red zone defense is 18th in the country. Nevada's red zone offense is 131st. I don't see Nevada getting more than 10 points.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I went with San Diego State here.
Could be an underplay in this game, too.
It actually, would not be a bad play. Again, San Diego State's they're not flashy, but they average 28 plus points a game. I think I have any other stats here. I just think Nevada's going to struggle too much to move the ball. So I will lay the 7.5. Again, I am the road dog warrior, and I will take San Diego State over Nevada. And then in my final game, TCU at Kansas State laying 1.5. So I feel this comes down to 3 things: quarterback efficiency, explosive rates, and situational defense. First, we'll talk about the offense. TCU's pass game has been the better unit of the two, creating more chunk plays down the field and finishing drives at a higher clip than K-State. However, K-State can grind, but they've been more methodical, a little bit more slower. They're going to have that. They don't have the explosive plays that TCU.
They do have their running back, and they
do.
played, and they did put up 34 against Baylor last week in a real,
which is not nothing to sneeze about. Then we look at situational football. On third down and in the red zone, TCU's offense has been the more reliable scorer. K-State's defense has leaked just enough in these high leverage spots to tilt a 1-score game, which I think this is going to be pretty much a 1-score game. Then if you look at the matchup, TCU's wide receivers I looked at over K-State's corners. This was the swing for me. As long as the Frogs win the early downs and keep the playbook open, they'll control the tempo. And if they can do that, that forces K-State to chase. And that's a losing
You're
proposition.
counting on TCU to put up some points and Kansas State to have to come back.
Chase. Yeah. Yes, that's my.
And we have seen Kansas State struggle when they play from behind, right? Like, you go back to the first game of the year, they played Iowa State, right? Over, out of the country. They were behind in that game. I thought they might theoretically be a slightly better team than Iowa State going into the year, but they just haven't quite gotten it together this year.
No, they haven't.
And they've been on the wrong side of a lot of tight losses, right? Even Army beat them with that wishbone offense because they couldn't get the ball in their hands enough.
And that's the issue with the defense.
Yeah.
They just leak enough to not get that stop when they need it and get the ball back.
And then last week they played a Baylor team who can put points on the board and they get in a shootout and they lose that by a point.
And they're going to lose the shootout. I have TCU in the high 20s to low 30s, and I have K-State in the low 20s. That's kind of where I have it.
Yep. All right, well, moving over to mine, and you can tell like the way you go about your picks versus I do. I love the numbers and the box scores. You're doing some very deep dives into the matchups. I think that's real strong handicapping. And the way the numbers came out on your picks, the one thing I have trouble with is laying that level of points. Like I would certainly lay 1.5 if I like TCU. I kind of felt the only risk with that game was Kansas State is home. And they're running out of time to turn this around, right? They keep losing all these close games. Would this be the week now that they're a little healthier? But TCU has been impressive. They've definitely been an impressive team. So what I'm saying here is you're looking at this matchup. I kind of sometimes will look more at like what circumstances is a team facing,
Right.
right? As opposed, and sometimes that overrides some of the analytics of the stats. Even
I
though
tend
I'm an actuary who loves statistics and math, right?
and I tend to not give much weight to home field.
Right.
I really don't put much into that, and I think you do typically
Well,
more
I
often
do,
than
and
I do.
we'll get to some of the reasons why I do and I don't. Like, so for Iowa State, they're on the road against Colorado. Now, I just haven't liked this Colorado team. They've hung around in games all year,
They haven't
right?
been
But
impressive
they've
though.
not right. They're just not quite. I think they're decently coached. They make some boneheaded decisions, I think, managing the clock and stuff, but they're decently coached team. And I think that Iowa State, comes off that tough loss at Cincinnati
Yep,
last week. And they've been solid all year. And I like them going out. Now it is a little risky to go back to back playing road games in the Big 12, right? And Colorado will be hungry. But what I liked about it was a field goal. So if Iowa State, I like the line number, and I felt like Iowa State's a better team, and they're well coached, better coached than
I
Colorado,
agree.
better quarterback than
I agree.
Colorado, and they're in a spot, I think, where they're gonna give their A game, and I think they'll find a way to win this game. And at 3, I'll take it. Now the next one is the home field advantage and Josh Heupel, right? He just will pile up against a weak team. Arkansas got completely annihilated at home by Notre Dame and lost on the road at Memphis, and they fired their coach. And so all of these things to me, I think sometimes these coaches that can't win a big game, and Tennessee falls in that
Yep,
category, right? Saw how they lost to Georgia earlier this year.
yep.
Will bully against a team when they get ahead of them. And so I think Tennessee won't let up. And that's why I'm willing to lay the 12.5. It's a bigger number than I like, but I'm going to do it. And then this Troy game is interesting because these are two teams that sort of rank pretty evenly in a power rating. And I think it's a toss-up game, but Texas State gets that advantage of being at home. But I'm getting more than a touchdown,
That's a good spread.
and I like this to pick one of these games. It's maybe in an off league once in a while, and I think this could be a close game, and Texas State could win by a touchdown, and I get the cover.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of, and Troy has actually hung in there in a lot of games this year and been decent play. I've
I
won
had them
some,
a couple weeks back, and
yeah,
they won for me. So
yeah.
against the spread, they
They've
won.
been a team that's sort of delivered for me a couple times, so I'm sticking with them. And then I got to have my La Tech. They're four.
I couldn't talk myself into it.
I got them over 5.5 wins for the season. They're 4-1. They're
Yep.
only lost to LSU. No shame there on
Nope.
the road. They've won. They were a very slight favorite against UTEP and beat them by 19 a couple weeks
Yep.
ago. And I just like being under a touchdown. Again, they are laying the points and they are on the road, but I got them winning this game by 10 to 15 points, 10 to 14 points. So I'm playing them. That's tomorrow night. And then a totals parlay that I threw up there is Kent State UMass over 50.5. All 4 teams on this board, right, are horrific defensive teams. Kent State, however, has played. You could make an argument to bet on Kent State this week just because they've allowed themselves to play ridiculous competition because they're getting paid to go and get
Right.
pummeled by
Get pummeled.
Oklahoma 44-0. But I'm not going to mess around with the sides in these games, and instead I'm going to count on them going up and down the field. UAB, we've hit overs with them
Yep.
before when they played with Navy. FAU and UAB rank. I
That is a
think
big total, though.
it is. It's a huge total,
It's a
and I
huge
said I don't like
number.
going over
You
60,
don't
but
like going over 60.
but
You're almost going over
if I
70.
look at a couple of stats on this, like these teams rank defensively, they rank 132 and 133 in the country in scoring defense out of 136.
Yep.
That's UAB and
FAU.
yes.
Yeah. Florida Atlantic, I think, is dead last, right? in a lot of categories.
Well, you know who's last is Kent State.
Kent State.
And Kent State's on this. So you got 3 of those 4 teams that are sitting in that.
Are in a 130 or higher.
Yeah, are 3 of the 4 worst teams, as far as defense goes. And I think, and UMass is on the list too. They're 130. They're the best of the lot. So now sometimes these really bad teams play each other. And these defensive rank, like Kent State's ranking in a lot of ways is because they've given up. Well, right. So you can't read into that totally, but I just really like the, even UAB and Navy went up and down the field on each other.
Yeah.
So, and then in my double dog barking money line parlay at plus 480, I am taking 2 home dogs. Missouri and Auburn to upset Bama and Georgia. Now, don't bet a lot of money on this one because you're asking 2 very good teams to get beat on the same
whatever
day.
your unit is, this is a quarter unit,
yes.
half unit at most.
Right. You want to do a third to a half unit at the most. But I do like both of these teams. Now, Auburn has been disappointing, but I think they've hung around. They beat Baylor in the beginning of the year.
I don't like Auburn's quarterback.
Arnold, you don't like?
Yeah, I don't like Arnold. I mean, he can run. I just don't think he can throw.
Yeah, right. This is a play on Auburn's going to give everything they've got in this game.
Yeah, I agree.
And Missouri, I think, can go toe to toe with Alabama. Alabama's coming off, beating Georgia and then beating Bandy.
You're looking for a trap game there. Almost like a chipwich.
A little bit, although I don't know that they've got it's the back end of the chipwich, And I'll just jump into the NFL because we'll float back and forth. But moving down to the NFL, these are there's reasons why I took these games. So I will start with the under. This is the Jets in Denver. Jets defense has not been good. Denver's defense has been very good. They're going overseas. Denver's going to have a little bit of a hangover after beating the Eagles, and I think this thing could be just a rock fight. A low score. The Jets are going to be desperate to try to win a game. They're not going to get Denver. I don't think they'll get Denver's best offensive game with Bo Nix. And I could see this being a very low scoring, 20-17 type of game.
Yep.
Jets maybe even sneak a win out. I think there's a hangover here. I don't think they will.
I love 20-17, by the way.
Now 20. The problem with 20-17 is you're one pick 6 away from being at 44 points. But I think I think that's about the right score. That's what last week was. The Browns and Vikings were 21-17.
Yeah. Right.
So I just think the 43.5 was a generous total there. And then the Chiefs, to me, this is a
I'm shocked by this play.
I know, because I feel like this game is the Chiefs are 2-3. They haven't been right. They just lost to Jacksonville on the road, but they seem to find a way when they need to get a win. Now they're back home, and they just took care of the Ravens, who are wounded, and they had Lamar in that game. They barely lost to the Eagles, again, who's not been that impressive at home. But I think that I feel like the Lions have gone from being sort of undervalued to now being overvalued. And the Chiefs are coming off a disappointing loss, and you will get their best game at home. So it's situational. The Lions are riding a little high right now, right? The Chiefs are riding a little low, and they're going to come home and don't count us out just yet. So, by the way, I've got the Chiefs to not make the playoffs. So I really, in a way, don't want them to win this game.
I mean, the Chiefs.
But that's not why I'm handicapping this.
Because 3-2 the Chiefs, right?
2-3.
They can't lose another.
So I'm handicapping them. I would rather they lost and I lost this bet, because it makes my season bet for them not to make the playoffs get stronger. But I'm being objective here and thinking the situation is good. And then this Commander team has been impressive to me. The fact that they went out, and I know the Chargers are a little injured, but they got down 10-0. Daniels is back in the lineup, and they just methodically, basically overran the Chargers. And now they're coming home. I get the Bears being off a bye and it being a little bit of a maybe a rested situation where they're going to give everything they have. They might remember the way they lost to the Commanders last year, right on that tip at the end of the game where the defender went. You remember that whole story.
Yep.
So they may have a little chip on their shoulder, the Bears. So there's a bit of risk there. But I thought the line was a little lean at 4.5. Right. I could see the Commanders winning this game, 30-21 or some such score. So, and then in the double dog money line parlay of 612, I'm taking. Why don't we go with Miami and the Panthers? The Chargers are wounded. They're not playing well. They are out. One of their key offensive linemen, Alt, is out. The running back is out. They were just a little bit banged up right now. And Miami is a better team at home.
They are, but they're still not that good.
They're not very good at all. They just blew a big lead to the Panthers last week. But this is why I double dog dare you. You don't have to do it. You're getting 612 on this.
Yep.
And the Panthers are 3.5-point underdog to Dallas. They play well at home. And Dallas is, again, riding a little high, thinking a little bit better of themselves than maybe they should be. And I like a little momentum for the Panthers back-to-back at home. In Miami, McDaniels he might get fired if they lose this game badly.
I mean, this literally could be his last game.
Yeah, I mean, we're not putting him in front of to do any motivational speaking. That's for sure.
When he walked off the field last week,
did you see him? The worst
did you see his body language when he walked off the field last week after that loss? It was
no.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good in a hoodie, but other than that, he just does not really deliver. He might be better off, wearing hoodies in a parking lot somewhere than coaching that team. Because he just doesn't, he's no Bill Belichick in the NFL.
No,
he'll be a great
OC
Belichick in college.
He'll be a great OC next year. All right, so we'll move over to my side.
He doesn't have to interview for anything.
We'll move over to my side. I'm starting with Arizona at Indy. I'm laying the 7 points. I'm taking Indy. I'm taking Indiana Jones. Indy's +5 in turnover margin. So give me Indiana Jones to face Murray on offense. Indy has the edge on special teams. I'll still take their defense over Arizona's.
I'm just going to have to stop mocking this team until they become what I think they are, but they're not right now.
I'm going to bundle the Indy with all that crap I just said. I'm going to bundle that with all the noise that Arizona is dealing with this week. And with that being said, I will take Indy with the win and winning big. And
I almost wish I had Arizona in the double dog dare because this sets up for
a comeback game.
Yeah, for something to happen here that's going to be unusual.
It's the only reason I almost didn't play it, but I'm riding with Danny. I'm taking them. Then I have Tennessee at Las Vegas. Las Vegas is laying 4.5, and I like Las Vegas over Tennessee.
I actually like that this week too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Gino just needs to stop throwing 3 interceptions a week.
So I wrote down, obviously both teams struggle in all facets of the game, but I'm giving Gino another shot to fix the offense and finally put up some points.
Maybe Brian Callahan will make some more boneheaded decisions.
He may be back in the list next week, baby. I won't be upset as long as they lose by 5.
Right.
My last game is San Fran at Tampa Bay. I'm going to stick with Baker.
Yeah.
I think San Fran did get a good win last week, but they're still struggling with the injuries. Mac Jones, they got a couple extra days here, which they need because he was so banged up after the last game.
Is Purdy going to maybe play? Or
I haven't heard. I'm banking on Mac Jones for this pick. Now, I don't think they have to come out with the injury report until Friday.
Yeah.
If that changes,
I go back and forth on this. I think that some of the sharp players and people are looking at this and love the 49ers, and I'm just struggling to get there. Tampa Bay, I had Seattle last week, and that was one of my only loss in the NFL on this podcast, and my only loss in contest was with Seattle, and that's out of 5 picks. And it was a wild game, but Tampa keeps finding ways to win these games. They could have easily beaten the Eagles too. I mean, it's amazing what you could put Baker Mayfield. I think he's about 12-1. You could throw an MVP money down on that guy right now.
I was so thinking it, and I didn't do it, but I might want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the 12-1 necessarily, but he is like
not horrible.
It's just going to get if he keeps winning games like this, it's going to drop, right? Yeah.
And then I have a fun little alt over. This is
These haven't done that well for you so far, have they?
No. When I went over, I lost. When I went under, I lost.
So you're
and
doing
my
Broncos
teaser,
and Jets. I get worried about that one, right?
but I have it at 36.5.
You're like, yeah.
I mean, that's low.
You
so you said 20 to 17. I was like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you win with that.
I went with 20 to 17. I got Cards and Colts.
I like that one a lot.
Over 39.5. Titans and Raiders. Pretty much, I took all these picks down to where it was around minus 250.
And then put them
together.
Yeah.
The only one I think that was a little bit more was Niners Bucks because I had to really move that down. I wanted them all under 40.
Yeah, I mean that one looks pretty likely. The 39s and a halves, both of them.
I think that started at like 45.
And you're counting on the Raider Titan game to be a little wilder than people might expect. So yeah, I could,
I'm hoping Gino gets his act together, right? So those are our college and football plays for this week. Couple of takeaways from the NFL. What do you think of the Patriots getting that free agent?
I think that was
great move.
That's a Belichick, an old-time Belichick move, right?
That truly was a great move.
Right? That's what he used to do, is get these guys that were not comfortable playing in other environments, and somehow they fit in for a couple of years in New England. And, Brady would utilize that. And this is exactly what this feels like with Diggs going up there.
Yep.
And with Vrabel being there, right? I mean, Vrabel's, it's a great.
It was and
he looks like he's motivated. He's motivated.
Great. He played great during that.
And I don't think he's got animosity towards Josh Allen. It just didn't end great with the Bills in general.
Well, he was always chirping in his face. So for years. So clearly they weren't super tight in general.
No. I'm saying I think they respected each other, but there was an issue. But there was it just wasn't going to be sustainable, right?
How about Cam Ward? Get him a little bit of help, and he might be the real deal.
You know what? When he needed to come through at the end with a couple of big plays, he did do it. He just makes a lot of bad decisions when he's in, and he did that in college.
Yep.
He's a bit of a slinger, right? And he doesn't have a lot of help around him right now.
I threw this in. I thought last week could have been a trap game for the Lions.
Oh, definitely.
But they avoided it. They got the win. They got the win big.
Pretty comfortably.
Comfortably. So they took care of business. And we already mentioned Dallas already on the podcast this week. Obviously, their defense is horrific, but the offense can trump it.
And that's what I expect to happen in the Carolina game. And one of the reasons I said let's take Carolina in a double-dogged area is that could be a 30-27 game.
Yeah.
And you just go back and forth. And Carolina could win that game at the end.
It's totally going to be a back and forth game.
Right.
The defense can't stop a paper
bag. And you go back to the time where Dallas went to the Bears and their offense wasn't quite clicking that day, and the Bears scored 31 on them.
Yeah. Listen, they're giving up points.
Right.
The offense has to score. A couple of overreactions. Drake May, franchise quarterback.
He was impressive. You know what? I haven't bought into this guy. I picked New England alternate under 6.5 wins.
I agree. He made some great throws.
I mean, I gotta. I've had discussions with our friend up at Tabor, Tyler Ferris, who's a big New England fan, and you watch that game against the Bills, and I already was starting to believe a little more in New England, right? So sometimes you're wrong.
Vrabel's going to give you a little bit of confidence,
right? And I kind of went against that and decided he needed a year. And I thought May was overvalued, but after watching his decision making and the way he got out of certain things, it almost reminded me of the way Josh Allen has developed.
Yes.
Right, big, strong guy who can run, can make good decisions. Now it was a small data set, and they've turned the ball over and lost a couple games. They lost to Vegas, for crying out loud. Lost to the Steelers, both at home. So they could go and lose to the Saints this week.
Absolutely.
But
he made some really impressive throws.
He did. He looked really good, and you have to look good to beat the Bills.
You do
at that stadium.
Again, Bills had no business losing that game, but that's
well, they turned the ball over. You turned the ball over.
Turnovers. Aaron Glenn.
They're not going to fire him after.
Come on, that team is Horrible.
He looks a little confused on the
He looks
sideline.
overmatched.
Yes, he does.
Go back to
Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Go back to Daddy, right? Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing working there.
I mean, look,
they're
sometimes
undisciplined.
I have to say this. Sometimes you are better off being an assistant than you are being a head coach. And you just are. You're just cut out to be. Josh McDaniels, I mean, from the
he can't coach.
He's gone to two different franchises trying to coach at Denver, and he doesn't connect with the players in the right way and figure out how to manage the game the right. There's a lot of things you got to do well to be a head coach. Yeah. There's a lot of things you have to do well to be an assistant coach.
How many head coaches are like special teams assistants and they become head coaches and they're good because they just understand more of the
and sometimes those guys aren't the best assistant coaches.
No. They're just good game managers.
Right.
Yeah. Motivators. And Raiders. Time to this week because I need Geno. But if he doesn't really perform this week, is it time to bench him?
Pete Carroll's not going to bench Geno.
Right.
I don't think.
I agree. I'm not gonna lie.
The guy went out of his way to come to the Raiders. Right?
I needed a third item. I thought it was fun. So this next slide is kind of an overreaction geared towards roughing the passer.
Oh.
So this is the Saints-Giants game.
And he knocked him down to the ground there.
This, I should have wrote down the defender's name. I didn't, so I apologize. But Jackson Dart gets hit. I don't know how you could direct or teach or coach a defensive lineman to do a better job at tackling a quarterback.
He looked like he even tried to get to the side.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't fall on him. He doesn't hit him in the head or neck. He's holding the ball. It's not like the ball's out of his hands. He knocks into the ground.
I think the reason they called it was the referee saw something that made it look like he flung him at the very last second. The only thing that you could possibly, but he didn't. He just dropped them.
It's called tackle football.
I don't know.
All right. That's all. It's just.
Well, the outcome of the game was disappointing to me being a Giant fan, but you're right about that play. And, whatever it was didn't help them. They had 14 points in the first quarter and they ended with 14. So maybe they needed like a roughing the passer and other penalties on the same one that could compound them into the end zone because they weren't getting there.
They weren't getting there.
No.
Now we have last week's results. We're not going to spend too much time on here because we don't like to do that, but there it is.
I like to do it if I have a good week. I like to go over all my plays. But...
I did okay. The only one that we really missed was the Vandy Alabama over. That was turnovers again got us there.
Yeah.
Just too many turnovers. They'd be moving the ball
in the red zone. Pavia, who was one of my Heisman guys I threw in.
He took a hit.
Yeah, he took a hit on that because of the turnovers, right? Yep. They could have won the game theoretically. They probably not, but I'm saying they were in position. So you went 2-1 in college, and it looks like you went 2-1 in pros. So that's a good week.
We both lost the Seattle game. We both had that one.
Yep. And I was 2-1 in NFL and 1-2. I do want to comment on the barking dog parlay that would have paid $830. Frickin' Maryland was up 20-6 in that game.
Yep.
And Florida beat Texas.
Yep.
And somehow Maryland lost a 20-6 lead and wrecked that parlay. And that would have paid 8.3 to 1.
Now I had Washington. I had Maryland plus the 6.5. So I still.
Yeah, they covered.
There
was no problem with the cover, but it was ridiculous that
Washington's
the traveling team. They're down 2 touchdowns. Maryland's ramping them, and that parlay got blown up by some late. And there was a chance that Maryland could have blown that cover. On top of it, I think Washington had the ball at the end.
Yeah, they did, and I was.
That would have been a really bad
loss. They went victory
loss.
formation, and they did. They went victory formation.
Yeah.
I was very worried there.
And, the pro double dog dare you, right? I mean, the Jags over the Chiefs was a barn burner, a great game. Panthers came back against Miami, and I got half of that dog parlay, but the Raiders were just
they got pulverized,
yeah.
So let's look at where we stand over the season so far.
I like this slide.
Yeah, you're doing well.
I mean, you're 500. That's not bad.
I'm 500. I'm doing horrible in pros. I'm doing a little bit better in college. I'm feast or famine, right? I've had 2 college weeks where I went 0-3, and I've had 2 weeks where I went 3-0.
Yeah, well, when you're only putting 3 games up too,
I
I
know.
mean, it's that's what we try to limit ourselves to, right? And
I
then
know.
maybe
So
you
yeah,
have
we
an
could sit here for
and then
2 hours talking on this thing.
yeah, so you
No
do
one's gonna
3
listen to
games.
us for 2 hours.
Yeah,
They should
they may not be listening to us for
for an hour. So that's where we stand. Tom is doing really well, so hopefully you guys are hopping on his picks. He's 18-13 overall between the two, and I'm 500. I'm 15-15. Hopefully I can turn that around and get a little bit better percentage there.
Well, you're better than a lot of people who are getting paid to put out their picks.
Yes.
And you know, these guys that put out these paid handy and then they charge for it, they don't put their own money at risk, charge you for the picks, and then you're the one that loses the
You
money.
loses the money anyway.
And then they brag when they have a good week.
Absolutely. Well, we kind of do the same thing. Remember that big X
we're
I had?
bragging, yeah, but
I kind of went right past that.
We're not getting paid.
We're not getting paid. So let's look at our circa.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is an unbelievable.
We're doing pretty well, ironically.
Yeah.
My results are on the right. This is my college football. So in college football, on the super contest with circa, is you have to pick 7 games.
No, it's Westgate.
I'm sorry, Westgate.
Yeah.
You have to pick 7 games.
Westgate sponsors a college a pool where you pick the 7 games, as you said, and they also sponsor a NFL where you pick 5 games every week, and you can pick from any of the 5. All the lines are published, and you get to pick 5 games. In the college, you get a huge slate of college.
Yeah, you get them all.
You pick any 7 you want against the spread. So what you see there is we have 3 teams in the college one, and Scott's team is the second team. Play it down, number 1 out of over 1,000 teams. So we thought it would be interesting to put this up. Obviously, that
it stays that way. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little superstitious.
Right, and it's right up there on the app. Anybody can go up there and look at that. And then the
left one.
The left one is the same thing. Now we're talking about the NFL contest, and they have different segments: weeks 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 9. And we have 2 teams in this one, and the team that I manage here is 9-1 over the last 2 weeks, which is weeks 4 and 5.
And that one is Seattle.
Yes, and with week 6 coming up.
So another good week, and we might have a chance to be
we might have a chance to win
many more weeks for the college one, but
that's why we're putting it up, because this is unlikely to last, but it's kind of nice to see a team.
Nice to see a number 1 right next to your name.
Yeah. And then in the Circa Survivor, with all the things that happened with the Cardinals, we have 2 teams from our groups left, of which I manage one and Al Big manages one, and we've got some decisions to make trying to keep those alive.
I'm hearing Packers might be a good pick this week.
They might be. They might be. They've taken so many of our teams out already with the Browns loss and the but they are. It's very hard to look past them this week.
I know. That is episode 17.
Next week we may address, either next week or the week after. Probably next week we might address some NBA futures bets.
Yes.
We're not.
And hockey did your start.
Hockey started. We're not. I've got a couple of thoughts on that. I'm not as big a hockey guy, but we do look at some of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I've got some futures on the Vegas Knights. I love that team. As far as like
Rangers, baby, Rangers.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of thoughts
Sam
we
Champion
may have.
Talk about the Rangers.
Oh, he's huge Ranger guy. So we'll maybe put some stuff out on a few. If it's hockey for me, it's never going to be plays. It's always going to be futures.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram for our picks, and we will see you all next week.